Welcome to the Local Farm Show, where we're going to talk all about food. But what does food mean to you? Is it just something on your plate or something more? In Food Paradise Singapore, food surrounds and connects us. But it's not just food, it's about the people, the community, and the culture. So stay tuned if food drives you. Today we will learn more about local farms and food charity as I speak to two special guests. Kenny Eng, Director of Garden Asia and founder of The Local Farm, and Sim Bihia, CEO of Food from the Heart. Now, food connects them to a common cause to do more good. So you can do your part by donating to this cause throughout the show. All you have to do is simply look at the chat box for details and donate as we go along. Your donation can and will make a big difference. All right, guys, we now have Mr. Kenny Eng here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about sustainable farming. So, Kenny, I understand that you're a fourth generation horticultural farmer. So can you share a little bit more about the recent startup of the local farm?
Yeah, so myself, I'm a fourth generation horticulture farmer. My great grandpa came 100 over years ago, and he was actually a coolie, then became a gardener, and then eventually started business way back in 1911. So we're 110 this year.
Oh, wow.
So from that whole fourth generation, I think each generation do different things, from growing plants, selling plants, eventually to where my uncle and dad is. They actually started landscaping services and they did floral services as well. So long short, we became from a horticulture landscape company, we became a hortitainment company. So what does it mean? So in 2003, we started to embark on a very new journey. License was literally renewed, changed, and we have a F&B outlet in the farm. We have the license to run a farm stay. We have a museum in there, and we started to do all sorts of kids program, farmers market, events in the farm, literally to bring people to the countryside. I mean, that was really, not something that we foresight that, this is going to be the way, but it's just by circumstances as well. So from that angle, I was really also privileged to serve the Kranji Countryside Association. So we started way back in 2005 and really know the farmers really inside out. I was the president for 5 years. We hosted conference from Commonwealth in Singapore. 300 delegates came. I hosted the princess herself, and at the same time, I've done various rounds of farmers market. And I think helping the farmers make me realize that I'm a farmer as well, and whatever that they are doing, it's just that they are still in the first two generation, and I can even predict what's going to happen next, right? Every parents will want the kids to get out. Nobody wants them to continue their whole farming experience. And worse itself is that, it's much easier for farmers to be traders like ourselves. We don't grow plants as much as we used to, because it's so much easier to import from overseas.
Right.
So I think with that, it started to make me realize that, wow, and then with the food security issues, coming up, and COVID hits us, and that was the trigger point for me to say, you know what, let's do something about it. So that's why the Local Farm brand was created.
Right.
Basically, the Local Farm objective is to really help farmers to increase their demand, because food security is complex, but food is not. Ultimately, as farmers, we are like business people, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you touched upon the food security, because again, that's something the government is starting to put a lot more emphasis on.
Yeah.
Like you said, especially with import, export, with COVID-19, with the global situation at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think more importantly also, that you touched upon, why not support local? Why not? We should be supporting local first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, supporting local, maybe I've seen too many, right? In the sense that supporting local, unfortunately, in today's state of the economy, is not enough. You need to buy local.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because people tend to forget that local farmers or local SMEs, they are business people. And business, you need to sustain. In order to sustain, you need to support them by buying their services and products, right? So farmers are the same. We really need people to come together and say, you know what, let's buy local, but it's not as simple as it is, especially when it comes to food, right? I mean, we only have 3 core food, eggs, fish, vegetables, what else can we do? So with the limited choice, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't. And also, thankfully, in the last few years, government has been putting on to the 30-30 strategy.
Yes.
That helps.
Yes.
More and more people are aware of what's going on as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, second question, I guess, or leading on to the next one is basically, why no farmers, no food?
Well, this tagline, this tagline came by chance, really. And many people, when I started the local farm, people start asking, why do you do what you're doing? And I have to simplify it, right? Because food security is such a complex issue. It can go from tech, it can go to land, it can go to manpower issues, it can go to so many issues from climate change, etc. So one day I was just looking at it and saying, you know what, we really need to simplify it. If not, people will not understand why we are doing what we are doing.
Yes.
So came one day and somehow that tagline came into picture while I was just brainstorming among my team and say no farmers, no food. And say, hey, that's a simple way. And the more I think about it, the more I use it, I realized that food security is complex, but food is not. So let's not complicate food, i.e., let's not complicate farmers. Farmers ultimately is just like any entrepreneurs. Bottom line matters. And at the end of the day, what we hope to achieve is to help them to increase their revenue at a fair price, good margin, and they will have more incentive to grow food, right?
Yes.
So I think no farmers, no food became our tagline, our purpose, our mantra, whereby whatever ideas that we're going to come up with under the brand, we need to increase the demand for the farmers.
Yes.
We need to help the farmers to disrupt the industry, to get more people buying local, and thus in return help them in their businesses as well. So in that way, the ecosystem will be much better, and it's a win-win-win, right? So that's how the No Farmers No Food came about.
And I see you got a pack here. Maybe you could help show the audience, some of our local produce.
So
that is produced here in Singapore.
So Singapore itself basically have 3 core food.
Yes.
Leafy vegetables, eggs, and food fish.
Okay.
So these are the 3 core. So in the local farm environment, we actually support several farmers. So I'm just going to share with you some of the farmers that we have. Now the most popular ones, which is the local vegetables, they are from ED Farm. So this is round spinach that we have here.
Nice.
So as you can see, ED, basically it's one of the largest vegetable farm in Singapore.
Okay.
All right, but they are soy-based. And they're soy-based farmers, and you can have a look. So soy-based farmers, as you can see. So what happens is that ED itself have 2 different labeling. One is the premium label and one is just a normal label. The normal label itself are distributed to all the supermarkets.
Right.
All right, but for premium label itself is only available in our store at the grocer.
Okay.
All right, or Redmart. So these are the only 2 platforms they have.
See.
So what's the difference between premium? Premium basically what we call first harvest, right? So within 24 hours, these vegetables comes to our grocer. And ED is from, a founder is Alan and the daughter is Ying Ying. They are just 5 minutes away from me. So literally my guys every morning will just drive to the farm and grab these vegetables to put in the grocer. So I can't find any place fresher than this, and that's why people who try it, they realize that wow, the things are clean, the roots are good, and people love it to the extent. So that's the first one.
Okay.
All right, that's Ely.
So this is interesting because they always use the tagline also, farm to table.
Yeah.
You're getting a fresh food
Exactly.
from Australia and it's coming straight to you. But people don't realize, you just said 5 minutes down the road from you, you can pick these up every morning. You could get this within the day at home and all within Singapore.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're buying food from, import, from food that's imported in, yes, it's still from the table, but it's been
it could be a couple of days,
4 days, maybe. You give or take.
Could be,
So
but I think the best part about this itself is that the farmers, if you want to really know more about them, the vegetable farmers have really their own tactics and techniques, over the years to produce good quality vegetables and harvest more within a year. So that's
awesome.
easy, right?
Awesome.
Then of course, eggs. That's everyone's favorite. So what we do is that we will N and N. So this is the firstborn egg. Now, so interesting about eggs, I think eggs is something that every culture in Singapore, we have it, right? Whether by religion, what race, you have all different types of eggs. So this is the firstborn egg.
Okay.
NNN has many types of eggs, and what I learned from this farmer is that for those who love eggs, you'll notice that the yolk matters, right? So what does it mean by the yolk matters itself is that N&N itself, they feed their chicken feed. Their chicken feed contains corn, so your yolk will always be orangey.
Oh, okay.
So it's highly nutritional, all right, and you can see the difference when you have the fresh eggs coming from you. And I mean, among all the farms, I noticed that the egg farms have one of the most tech-based kind of equipment.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we can't bring people public to the farms because of biosecurity. I have the privilege to visit them. Of course. And when you go in there, everything is robotized, right? It's basically you have robots to take the pallets from the heavy loads. They can sort the eggs according to the sizes. They can scan through UV to make sure there's no cracks, and even to the size of, you have large eggs, small eggs, right? All these are done literally with tech.
Wow.
So
that also limits the human to chicken contact.
Exactly.
A lot more.
So
as well.
I think that also create a lot more efficiency.
Yes.
The amount of tonnage of eggs that comes from the 3 local farms is huge, right?
Okay.
And they are increasing it accordingly.
Is this like barn style?
So it's caged, and basically it's a barn, but just that it's not. There's two. Some of the farms they have a little bit of free range within a big cage.
Yes.
Not the free range like what we have overseas.
Yeah.
Some of them are literally the hens are all in the cage as well, individually as well.
Okay,
so it all boils down to the respective farms. What are the types of eggs they are actually producing?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
So it's very simple. Whatever the eggs or the hens eat, the nutritional value will goes to the egg and thus goes to us.
Yes.
So that's why when you compare eggs itself from overseas, etc., is you want cheap eggs, think about what is being fed to the hens, right? So a lot of people don't really think about that in the context.
Yes.
All right. Now this is the one egg that some of us know, some of us don't. It's quail eggs, right?
Okay.
So
we have local quail eggs too?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
so,
I did not know that.
So a lot of people didn't know quail eggs, right? But if you look at several restaurants, quail eggs are very good for salad. Some of them goes into certain dishes as well. So this is with Liang Hua Hang, which is Uncle William. Right, his dad is one of the oldest farmers in Singapore. And the thing is that we carry the quail egg, and there's a misconception about quail eggs that it's very high cholesterol. You shouldn't eat it, but it's not. 5 eggs to 1 full chicken egg.
Okay.
So you can eat it, all right? And it's so easy.
That means this is my 1 pack is my protein snack. 3 eggs minimum.
All right.
Yeah.
That could be the future, right?
3 no more eggs.
All right. So now what about fish? Okay. So fish itself, we have a fillet fish here from the fish farmer. So this is actually a sea bass. All right. So just like in my restaurant itself, when I do fish and chips, a lot of people will have their fish and chips in like dory fish, etc. But we use a local farm sea bass.
Nice.
All right. It was really nice. You can taste the fish. The texture is nice, and it's now literally easy without bones. You can just bring it home, and you can actually do that as well.
Nice.
So these are some of the produce that are all locally produced in Singapore by the farmers.
This is on land?
No, this is sea-based.
Okay,
this
so they do have their coastal farms.
So the fish farmer has about 3 kelongs.
Yeah.
All right. Some in Changi, some in Lim Chu Kang.
Yes.
And they have mainly 5 types of fish, but they are the largest variety of fish farm. Means they produce quite a fair bit. And so you can have this. You have mullet. You have golden pomfret, red snapper, sea bass. They are all produced locally as well. So I think this is one of the things that a lot of people have no clues what they are, because like frozen pack like this is actually done through technology where they keep it fresh and frozen it.
Yes.
But people tend to want to go to the market, look at the fish, bring it home, wrap it, and then put it into the freezer.
Yeah.
So gone are the days, guys. I mean, technology is the way to go.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
everything's
helping the
done for you.
farmers
It's
as well.
already there.
Let me see what else.
And it's flash frozen and sealed. So
Yeah.
this is super fresh.
That's right.
Yes.
So the last one itself is salad mix. We work with Sustainia.
Yeah.
So
I know these guys.
So Sustainia basically it's one of our farm partner where they are ready to eat clean, salad mix. They're literally lazy guys like myself who do not know what to do in the morning, just want to have quite a quick breakfast. Open it up, no washing is required, and there you go.
Put your 15 boiled quail
eggs into it.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Simple, right?
So this is an example of the grocer that we have kickstarted in our farm, where we wanted people to have a closer contact to the farmers, and they can buy fresh produce after a meal at our restaurant, our bistro itself, and that's how we do it. And at the same time, we also started creating subscription pack.
Yes.
So that people can actually bring it home, we deliver to your home, and on a weekly basis, so that you can have farm fresh produce on a weekly basis as well.
So is this an example of what
Exactly.
a subscription pack would look like?
This is one example.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so this is one example.
price point wise for something like this?
So in our standard package that we have rolled out this year, I think we have just completed our third subscription pack. So it's a 3-month subscription.
Okay.
All right. So 3-month subscription itself, it's $600 for 3 months.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
3 months is it? But does it get delivered every week
Yes,
for 3
every
months?
week, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm just giving you a ballpark in the sense, without the plus.
Yeah.
But the whole objective is about $50 a week.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a $50 a week. So in the context itself, I think what is very critical is, we also understand the consumer's habit in Singapore. People want choice. So we try to rotate the vegetables every week when we bring it through.
Okay.
We try to rotate the eggs. So they have different types of eggs as well, and the fish as well.
Yeah.
All right, so that you have different types of produce for you to do something at home, something different, rather than it's the consistent stuff that's going through. But what is really critical is that we're not doing this because we just want to be another grocer trying to produce food for people to buy like a supermarket. It's not that. Because what we do is that a subscription actually enables the farmer to have a consistent, sustainable demand, because we contract the farmers.
Yeah.
And when we contract the farmers itself, and they know that for the next 3 months, I have this quantum every week, I need to get it through.
Yep.
They will constantly produce and let you have those produce as well, right?
Yeah.
So what is good is that because subscription enables us to pay the farmers before even the produce was done.
Yes.
So that gives them more incentives, to look at growing basically food that they can do, and at the same time sustainable in terms of business. So we're still just at the infant beginning stage, where it's just a 1-year-old kind of concept. But we also started to also realize that, hey, you know what, we can also work with corporates, and we can actually get the pack and deliver it to the low-income family.
Yep.
So so that really kickstart a lot of opportunities for us, and we just stay put to what the local farm mantra is all about.
Yeah.
No farmers, no food.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a beautiful concept, like you said, for us to support our local farmers.
Yeah.
The fact that you can pay outright for 3 months, for 3 months, every week for 3 months, you're gonna get a very healthy food pack.
Yeah.
This pack's gonna arrive at your doorstep, and it changes in variety if you kind of put it in, correct? Yes. But also the fact that you can sponsor and send a pack to a low-income family that would need it. And this is what we're talking about. This is the healthy stuff. If you receive a pack like this and you're able to eat your vegetables and your fish, fresh eggs, that's something very important. Is it dignity as well, that you're able to cook at home? You're getting high quality fresh food.
So Paul, one of the most interesting things that came to me this 1 year, which I thought it was nice to share, is every time when we ask people to buy local, the first question they will ask me, I mean, it's like out of 10, 5 will ask the same question. Are they more expensive than from overseas? It's like if everybody starts to think that way, why nobody thinks about what if there is no food on the table? I mean, what if the whole disruption like COVID has shown to us that you have money but you can't bring in food?
Yes.
Where logistics are jammed.
Yeah, then what happens?
All right, then what happens, right?
Yeah.
Do you need to wait till then? Then you start to support the local farmers.
Yes.
Why not now? Why not just support them and keep them going? So it's not an easy task, because people tend to compare. In a city like us, our agencies have done really well to diversify the imports of many countries, to bring food so that, even the poor can afford a $3 meal today. That comes at the expense of course, of agriculture.
Sure.
All right. So how we can do it? We can do our part as well. We can continue to do what we can, ensure that we support the farmers, let them be sustainable. And Singapore itself, frankly, if you look at the amount of supply that we supply. 26% egg farmer, basically 26%, we produce 26% of the supply of eggs in total demand. In terms of fish itself, all right, it's only at 8%.
Wow.
All right, it kind of like dipped from 10 to 8 within a year.
Okay.
And then in terms of vegetables itself, it's about 13%.
13.
Yeah, so we still have a long way more to go.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why you can see that in today's world, there's many articles that have been encouraging people to go high tech, produce more through technology, because Singapore's scale is small. But at the end of the day, as I said, food security is indeed complex because it will hovers around the food security strategy, but food is not. So let's not complicate it.
Yeah, and food is essential. We need to eat.
Yeah.
That's the most important. That's the bottom line. The way I look at it is, okay, maybe now buying local and fresh might be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe. And the argument is always, but why is it more expensive? They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to put it on a plane and fly it across. And,
Yeah.
And the easy answer to that is exactly what you just told me. 26%, 8%, 13%.
Yeah.
Right? That's how much of the market we supply. We need these numbers to go up.
Yeah.
It needs to be the opposite way.
Has
We need
to
to hit 80%, 90%. And when that happens, that's when the margins can get a little bit slimmer because you're starting to produce scale.
I mean, what I see, interestingly over the years, especially COVID. I mean, COVID kind of like enlightened us in many ways, right? I mean, it's going to be a new normal. Things will never be the same again.
Yes.
Disruption to food is not just Singapore. The disruption to food is across the world. It's a global pandemic, right? So what my predicament is that, food source countries will change their policy to protect their
Themselves.
farmers
Exactly.
before they look at others, right? So that will means, as a country who import 90%, we're going to get tougher and tougher policies, negotiations, all right? Food costs may go up.
Go up. Exactly.
Right?
That would be another reason where.
So exactly. So I
would
don't
change.
even need to look at Singapore produce 80%.
Yeah.
As long as the imports started to climb and our food gets cheaper,
Yes.
that day may come, right? So I think food indeed is something that, I felt that as the pride of the farmers, local farmers, there's a lot more needs to be done. And I think that's why we wanted to do something different. There's no shortage of, documentaries telling you about what farms are doing, etc., what tech they are going to do. But that is a food security strategy. That is, is complex.
Yes.
But food is not.
Yes.
So we still need to buy and eat it.
Yes.
So that's how I see it.
So consumers can either come and eat at your restaurant and then order produce directly from site.
So currently we have two. We have
Okay.
the bistro that they can come in to
Okay.
eat for. It's a farm to fork experience.
Yes.
All right. And then at the same time we have a grocer.
Yes.
All right, where you can buy off whatever they see here. All right, back home. And if you like to subscribe to our subscription pack, you can just sign up with the subscription pack. All right, and you can literally
This is on-site or online?
online.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then you can literally subscribe to it, and we deliver to you on a weekly basis.
Great.
But of course, it comes in basically we open up the subscription based on the quarters.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3 months
Okay.
rollout. So it's not like today you want it, tomorrow I can do it. You still have to wait for the opening of the subscription pack, and then we need to have a quantum.
Yes.
And then from there we can actually.
When is the next opening?
Oh, we just completed for the year.
Okay, so but we can order soon for January.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
That's important because I mean it's almost January. We're at the end of the year, so I just wanted to let people know that they can basically get on and start to make their orders.
Yep, they can start to consider this and then supporting local, and
Okay.
we should open up our subscription most probably in December.
Yeah.
Then that's where we can get this going.
So, just one question from my side. My girlfriend's allergic to seafood. Can we opt out not to get the seafood and get
Yes.
more of the other
So
stuff?
we have many different choices
Yes.
that our clients have been giving us quite a fair bit of feedback, right? And so what we did was that because we just started this year, and we wanted to ensure that we contract the farmers efficiently.
Yeah.
Thus, we gave no choice from the first outfit
yes.
for this whole year, so that we realized that this is the majority of the group. And then suddenly, as we go further, then people start to come back to us and say, can we change this and that?
Yeah.
Then we'll see whether how logistically we can do that. And if it's possible, case-to-case basis, we'll do that. But we're still fixed to the main pack so that it's easier for us to contract farmers.
Sure.
Because if not, imagine everyone had different kind of like subscription model and they have different varieties. Logistically, it costs more than just the produce.
Yeah.
So it's not efficient for us as well. So I think what we hope to achieve itself is that the pack that we're moving forward, for those who want to subscribe, frankly, there's no, I would say that there is a lot of choice you have, right? You can buy online.
Yeah.
You can go supermarket.
Yep.
All right. So for those who really subscribe to us, understood that we are really supporting the farmers in a very different way.
Yes.
All right. So I have
more direct, right, as well.
And
You're cutting out
I have a
a
client,
couple of phases. Yes.
and one of my clients that actually subscribed to this for the past 3 rounds have, and they have feedback to us and says that, I don't really take quail eggs, but you know what? I give it to my family.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
So
Exactly.
it can be done. So it's not necessary that it must be, I need to change it for my own sake, because if you want choice, well, supermarket just downstairs, right?
Exactly.
So you have choice.
Yes.
really. Yeah.
Okay, and then how did the idea of farm to family, the campaign Farm to Family, how did that come about?
This was really unique because what happens was last year when we started the survival pack, that was the first thing that we did during COVID, during the circuit breaker time. We wanted to take the opportunity to try to get more people to subscribe to local farms on a longer term basis
Right.
as well. What we learned from that experience for 6 months is that a lot of people tend to want to support, but the moment you ask them to pay for it, many people will start to pull out from the subscription basis. So what happens is that when we look at that element itself, then we realize that we have to really understand what the consumer needs are. So we started to change from the initial 6 months to 3 months variety rotation, but that doesn't help us really. So, and we started to realize that, wow, when Singaporeans realize that they have choices, when Singaporeans realize that they are safe, from the food scare, they tend to not to do this.
Yes.
So that is not sustainable, frankly. So then we started Farm Pack from a Cause. Farm Pack for a Cause was really to marry corporates to come together and we donate 1 pack to a low-income family. It came by chance. All right, so one of our business partners came to us and said, there's a few corporates that are keen, will you be able to support us? And that kickstarted the whole idea. And we were really blessed. The first Farm Pack for a Cause, within 10 days, we garnered 52 SMEs for 75 packs. We delivered to 75 families for 3 months. It was really beautiful, really. It was something that we realized that, wow, we never expected that to happen, right? It was really just doing something from our heart, wanting to do good, helping the farmers, and then suddenly we realized that it can benefit the low income. So as we run through the 2-3 rounds, and I was being invited for a webinar, and that's how I get to know Via from Food from the Heart. And she was sharing what her charity is all about, her food charity was doing. I was like, wow, why didn't I know you earlier,
Yes.
right? Because that was the solution I've been looking for.
Yes.
And the more we share, the more we talk, and then I started to realize that that's it. This should be doing it in a much bigger manner, and we really wanted to do it. And I was talking to her, we started to look at this whole campaign. We call it Farm to Families. We want to bring farm fresh goodness to the beneficiaries as well, all right, so that we can give better.
Yes.
And that was really something that I really believe in her vision, and I think that it resonates with our vision of no farmers, no food. Imagine the same dollar, you support 2 groups, right? You get the farmers on board, you support them sustainably.
Yes.
At the same time, as well, you give it to a low-income family. It's
a win-win.
something. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, that's how it started. And we are really excited that we want to kickstart this soon, and we want to get more people on board. And let's do our part. Supporting local need not necessarily buy and eat. Why not buy and give?
Yes.
So I think that was something good.
Okay. And that also is very easy to subscribe to. You subscribe to that as well. It's the same similar process.
No, this will be much similar. All right, we are trying to make it seamless, whereby it will be literally on kind of donation drive.
Okay.
So even for this show itself, you can all do your part as well. Just donate all right, and we just accumulate a crowdfunding element. The more you donate,
I see.
the more people
Okay.
come, we're able to get it through.
Gotcha.
And at the same time, we also get corporates to come through, all right, to either do matching or to fund it together with us. I think it has to be inclusive.
Yes.
All right. I mean, feeding the beneficiaries or helping the farmers to be more sustainable. All right. I think it takes a whole village, right? So you know, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I think I've learned a lot today.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm hoping that our audience who have been watching, listening in, have also picked up quite a lot of facts, in my opinion, but also more importantly, to understand a little bit more about our local produce, our local farmers, and what we can do here to, you know, keep our village together. I like that. You know, it takes a village to feed a village, and this is what it's all about. So thank you, Kenny.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
You know, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to cook for dinner tonight.
That's good.
Okay, welcome back. I have my next guest with us to have a lovely chat about what she does. Please welcome Miss Sim Bihia from Food from the Heart. Hi Bihia, how are you?
Hello, hi. Good to see you here.
You too. Thank you for joining us, of course, first and foremost. I guess the first question to kick things off is, what exactly is a food charity?
There are more than 600 charities in Singapore. We serve different sectors. As a food charity, we specialize in providing food support. So for us, it's really about getting the food support to the people who need them as long as they need them. So we're really talking about consistency, we're talking about stability, we're talking about sustainable giving. You know, it's not ad hoc giving. You know, in Singapore, it's a food paradise, right? For you to actually give food support on your birthdays, you can always buy some food, go to a rental block, and you give that out, right? But that's not a coordinated approach, and it may lead to duplication. It may lead to certain beneficiaries receiving more food. Some may be underserved, and therefore for us, it's really about being efficient in the distribution and making sure it's sustainable.
Yes, I like that, and I know you have been around for quite a while doing the good work. I have the privilege of actually delivering with Food from the Heart quite a few years ago now, as part of the President Star charity, and that's when I first learned about your organization and what you guys do. So I guess for the benefit of our audience, maybe you can explain exactly what Food from the Heart does.
Food from the Heart started in 2003 by our founders, Christine and Henry Leimer, an Austrian couple who were actually based here. And they read an article about the bakery throwing good bread at the end of a business day. So they got a few friends together, and then they started to collect the excess unsold bread and redistribute that out to homes, to our partners, and then giving it to people who need them. You know, just like, I'm sure if you buy bread tonight, it's your breakfast the next day, right? So these are really good quality bread that goes out to people who need them. So that was in 2003, so it's about 18 years now. And over the years, the board have realized that feeding the needy is now a key pillar for us. So we continue to operate. We have professionalized the team. We have grown over the last 3 years tremendously. We are now serving more people. We're giving out more food in different ways. We have digitalized, but we've kept it very close to our roots. Minimizing food waste is still one pillar. Feeding the needy, hungry is the other key pillar.
During my time when I was helping, the logistics was quite interesting because you would welcome volunteers to be the delivery personnel. Whoever you are, whatever you do, as long as you have a vehicle and you are registered into the system, we find a day and a date and you can deliver. That's still how
there.
Yes, that's still the
entire
operator's Monday.
ecosystem is still there, but it has become a little bit more multi-dimensions. So we have volunteers who man our community shops. We have volunteers at the warehouse. We have volunteers who do door-to-door distribution for us, about 800 every month.
Wow!
And then we have our bread runners. You know, we call them bread runners because they will collect the bread from the bakery and then they will go to the distribution point. So all in all, just a calculation, a simple statistics to give you how massive the volunteer is. Just for 2021, we are clocking almost 41,000 volunteer hours.
Wow.
That is almost 5,000 over work days. So Food from the Heart, last year, we distributed more than $6.53 million worth of food. We served 53,700 beneficiaries, and we only have a small team of about 20 staff.
Oh
and
my.
everything else is by volunteers.
Volunteers.
Yes.
Oh, that is amazing.
There's a
That's
huge
amazing.
brigade.
Yeah. But you know, I think Kenny said something earlier about the village.
Yes.
You know, and that's what it
Yes.
is about, right? It's that
Yes.
community spirit
Yes.
that we all need to help each other.
Yes.
And that's a perfect example
Yes.
of that. Okay, as a charity, what are your main obstacles and challenges that you would face?
I think as a charity, as with any other charity, fundraising,
Yeah.
right? Because we raise every single dollar. We are an independent food charity. We are not affiliated to any religious groups. We're not affiliated to any government agencies. And therefore, we raise every single dollar. So fundraising has always been a huge challenge for us to continue to be able to feed the people we serve. And 2020 last year, we were very touched because Singapore just
Stepped
came
up.
on board
Yeah.
and stepped up and helped us to raise a lot of money. And that has given us the capacity to take on more applications for food support, take on more partners who need to grow number of, who have more beneficiaries they need to serve. We're able to do that. We've also upsized our food pack because the funds allow us to actually upsize the food pack. And during circuit break, it stemmed from the feedback during a circuit breaker because the beneficiaries were asking us whether can we pack a bigger pack because everybody was eating at home
Right.
and the pack wasn't able to last them the whole month.
Yes.
Yes.
And not being able to go out necessarily to buy food.
Yes.
For whatever reasons.
Yes. So the second challenge is really about, how do we garner the village to work together, in a more coordinated, efficient manner so that we can minimize and, all the duplications, the over-serving, instead of one family who gets, especially during Christmas and New Year, they get a lot more because a lot more people are giving.
Right.
And you lead to hoarding.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes the food that's given may not be suitable for their diet. So that's a huge challenge as well. How do we want to garner everyone to work together in a more concerted effort?
Right.
So that is the other challenge. I think that the third challenge is really about how do you curate the bags?
Right. Of course.
Right? So we are always asked, are you sure you should be giving canned food, high sodium, not healthy, instant noodles, not healthy, right? So my rejoinder to them is really, if you can give me an alternative food that can last beyond 3 to 4 weeks, right? And at an affordable price, I'm prepared to go for that,
Right.
right? But the huge challenge is a challenge even to curate the bags. So for example, we have a group of beneficiaries partnering with NKF. They are renal patients, they have dialysis. Their diet is very different,
Yes.
right? You have the elderly who stays alone. So the size is different, right? They wouldn't be able to consume 5 kg of rice in a month. But for a family, the 5 kg may not be sufficient, right? So certain people may not like baked beans.
Yeah.
Certain people may prefer certain items. And therefore, to curate the bags is a huge challenge. So actually for us, as we speak now, this month, we are packing more than 10,200 bags going out. Every bag has about 15 items. So you just imagine the huge number of food items that go through our hands, and to curate each bag.
For each household?
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Okay.
There's no way we can do that.
Yes, of course.
So what we do is that we curate bags for the elderly.
Yeah.
We curate bags for families.
Yes.
We curate bag for young families that are in the schools under the school goodie bag. So the school goodie bag items are different, very different, more suitable for young families with milk, 5 kg of rice. It's quite different. We curate bags for the NKF group. So this is an NKF, is actually recommended by the nutritionist. So this item,
good stuff.
Yeah. So we have also added in, there were calls for nutrition, better value food. So we have actually added root vegetables, we have added fruits, we have added eggs.
Perfect.
So the 3 items plus the 15 items in the dry ration, every bag goes out with 15 items.
Yes.
And you know, it's a huge challenge to just even get the bags out on time so that our partners can do the last mile delivery.
Yeah.
So, well, the challenges are endless, but we have Singapore behind us.
Yes.
And, you know, the 41,000 volunteer hours.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, from all our volunteers.
And I think challenges are good as well because it's that motivation,
Yes.
that drive to really succeed. And I would be happily eating all this. If I receive this, I guarantee I'd be eating that. But these are things that you know are recommended.
Yes,
And
it's on
by
our wish
nutrition,
list.
yes, wish list
Yes.
or nutritionist approved, curated accordingly to the
Yes.
household. But what are some of the things that you don't
Okay.
want to receive and necessarily deliver?
Yes. Okay, for us, the Community Food Pack program relies heavily on food donations. So as a food charity, we raise 2 things, funds and food. So for food items, if the donations are not correct, then what goes out would not be correct.
Of course.
For example, someone gave us this. We have no
can with
idea
no
what
label.
is inside.
Wow.
Yes, we have no idea what is really inside, so we can't give this out.
Of course.
Right? And then we have got expired food items. Well, there is a community out there who believes that if, you know, the colors, the smells are all right, we can consume that. But that's your personal gut.
Of course.
As a food charity, we're the goalkeeper, and we must ensure that the food that we go out has at least 3 months expiry.
Gotcha.
So that the turnaround time, by the time the beneficiary gets to eat it, they
Sure.
still have a leeway to consume the
Absolutely.
food. Right? So this is expired food.
Better safe than sorry.
Yes. Snacks. Because this doesn't fill the stomach.
Okay.
So, you know, little snacks like this, it doesn't help in filling up stomachs.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to your meals,
Yes.
right?
Not necessarily wrong, but just not encouraged.
Yes, it's not encouraged. Like, you know, if it's like Chinese New Year, Christmas, sometimes we do have additional surprise
Yes,
items.
sure.
Yeah. So things like this is a single pack, one pack like that.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult to deal with this. Yeah. So not encouraged,
Yes.
right? And you'll be surprised. You do have opened.
Oh my goodness.
Opened. It's already opened. It resealed back, and they gave it to us. So this has a problem for us because once it's opened, once it's unsealed, there's a possibility of contamination, and we really can't give this out.
Of course.
So we do our donation right talks where we go out to schools, to companies when they're doing a food donation drive to explain to them what is suitable.
Yeah.
The other thing is size. If you give us a big jumbo bottle of oil, we can't give that out
Okay.
because it's too heavy for the seniors to deal with it, right? So size matters. Brand sometimes matters because we believe that the beneficiaries would have seen better days when they're younger.
Yeah.
They would have accumulated a certain taste,
Yep.
a certain habit. So, you know, like for example, sardine, Ayam brand is, you know, popular.
Top notch.
Not that I'm doing marketing for them.
Yeah. But I understand.
Yes, but there are certain things that we call out for. And we also want to also stress that our beneficiaries have the same calendar as you and I.
Of course.
They should not be celebrating Chinese New Year after Chinese New Year. When you have excess Chinese New Year items and then you start to give it to us.
Yes.
We don't encourage that. We you know, like Mooncake Festival, we encourage that the mooncake should be distributed
Prior.
before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, one of the important things to note is also dignity.
Yes.
And in this case,
Yes.
why do you think it's okay for you to give an open packet of food to someone, even though they might be struggling to put food on the table,
Yes.
but you wouldn't take this
Yes.
and eat this from someone because
Yes.
you don't know,
Yes.
even though you haven't done anything to it, but it's still, like you said,
Yes.
contaminated.
Yes.
So, you know, it's about dignity. It's about giving them
Yes.
good quality food
Yes.
that's safe to consume.
Yes.
And allows them to have the right nutrition, and also I think in a nice way be able to cook themselves
Yes.
so that they can have a sense of that
Yes.
dignity of I know I've received this food, but I'm cooking it and I'm preparing it for myself and my family.
Yes.
Yes.
So our food pack has 12 items dry rations,
Okay.
but comes from 5 main categories. So it's always a holistic bag. So you have the staples like your rice, instant noodle, vermicelli. Then you have the canned protein, sardines, tuna, salmon, days, curry chicken, pork knuckles, luncheon meat.
Yep.
Canned veg, your beans, your peas, your mushroom.
Yes.
Then beverage, coffee, tea, Milo, oats,
Yep.
you know, and then others would be
Sugar-free, some not sugar-free,
yes.
depending. Yes.
well, if you look at certain beverages, if you look at our warehouse, then you will see the different types of
Yeah.
packaging,
Yeah.
from powder form to 3-in-1 to kosong to drinkable packages.
Right.
Yeah. And then the last category is really the oil, the condiments, the biscuits, any others that don't belong to the first 4. So that's the main thing. And then with the root veg, the fruits and the eggs.
Okay.
So it's actually a very complete pack.
Yes.
So we have been
And every
moving
pack
towards
has to have some items from each of those categories.
Yes. So it's a holistic. So sometimes when we are short of, say, protein, we may call up for tuna, we may call up for sardines so that we can fill up the pack.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll be happy to take all this back with me today except for the open oatmeal and the no label can. The expired instant noodles, my stomach quite strong lah. So if I open and it smells okay, it looks okay, maybe I can makan.
yes. That's what most of us would do individually.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But as a food charity, we just can't.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. I
Yes.
mean, same thing as if we went to the supermarket to buy food, they can't by
Yes.
by law also
Yes.
sell us anything that's within a certain expiry
Yes.
date.
Yes.
It's just common sense.
Yes. So under our pillar of minimizing food waste, we also work with Fair Price supermarket chain, where we actually collect unsold, packaging damaged food items.
Okay.
So we do get dented canned items, and then our volunteers will check sorts, and then we actually get this packed. And we also serve about 100 over welfare homes, halfway houses who also take food items from us.
Yes.
So some of this on the shelves will be given to them as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me. My girlfriend actually did volunteer,
Yes.
and she was doing that. She was
okay.
volunteering, on some mornings at the warehouse, and they would be cleaning
Yes.
certain products, making sure that
Yes.
if they were damaged, at least still edible, just make sure that it's been reflected, and just to make sure that everything's in good order. So I did remember her telling me that it was hard work. So I know the volunteers are out there doing a lot of that groundwork stuff, which is very, very important. Yes.
We have actually digitalized recently.
Oh.
So now instead of, when we have inbound food donations, it used to be paper and pen.
Yes.
So when you calculate tuna, so you have say 12 dozen,
Yes.
and you reach and you thought that's the final number. At the bottom there's another can of tuna. You need to cancel and rewrite. Well, now we have a device where we just scan.
Yeah.
So it goes into our inventory inbound food items, and then we scan it when it's outbound. So we have digitalized the warehouse part of it.
This is very recent.
This is very recent.
Yes, because she was volunteering earlier this year.
No, this was in Q3 this year.
Okay.
Yes.
I will tell her. So now if she
Yes.
keeps volunteering, I'll tell her job will be much easier.
Yes. But the checking and the sorting,
Of course.
we still need the human eye to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we do. So it's a very happy family working towards a common cause.
Right.
Yes.
You have a couple of other initiatives. Can you tell me a little bit more about your efforts with Project Belanja and the community shop? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just now when I mentioned about having 10,000 over beneficiaries, right, that we are packing the households, we aren't able to curate that. And in our engagement with our partners and beneficiaries, choice was a word that everybody was talking about, right? That somehow some item inside the pack may not be something the beneficiary wanted. So the team discussed and we came up with this idea about having a community shop. What we were looking for was really seamless food support. In Singapore, right, to ask for food support is kind of a face thing as well. So we want to lower the hurdle of families who require food support to actually feel free to come forward to say that they need food support. So we wanted something within the HDB estate. We're quite different from, say, Australia, where you have to travel a long distance and you tend to cook more at home. In Singapore, you go downstairs, you have the coffee shop, you have a hawker center, you have the HDB shops. So the idea of the community shop was really to have a shop sited within the community, and the beneficiaries can go in and take their 12 items off the shelf, regardless of brand, regardless of size, regardless of type.
Yes.
And they can take it when the shop is open. So they need not take all the 12 items at one go. So today I run out of rice, I can go down to the shop during opening hours and just take a pack of rice. And all that is digitalized, we capture the information. So that's the back end of it. But to the beneficiaries, there's a choice. I get to choose what I want. So if I'm a senior citizen staying alone, I may decide to just take a smaller can of sardine.
Yep.
Whereas if I'm a family, I may take a bigger can of sardine.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So size matters, brand matters. We have a chiller inside there, so we're able to put things like milk, juice, butter that we can't actually pack inside the food pack.
Okay.
We're also able to put more glass jar items like jam, kaya that's in a bottle on the shelves, which we do give out in a pack, but because it's glass, it's a bit more difficult to handle.
Right.
So the shop came about was to really give back that dignity of choice. We wanted to change the equilibrium of people receiving help, that you don't just have to take everything that people give to you.
Right.
We empower you to make the decision yourself, what you want, when you want it, and what size you want it.
So, are the beneficiaries on a system where do they have a card that
Yes.
they show?
Yes.
And yes,
They have a beneficiary card
Card,
with their QR code on it.
Okay.
So every time they go to the shop, they choose the items, 12 credits a month.
Yes.
We have demonetized food support.
Yes.
We do not want to say that this card is $50.
Sure.
We want them to know that it's 12 items.
Yep.
Some months they may take fewer, take smaller. Some months they may take bigger, more items, and that is their choice.
Carry over, Ken?
No,
Okay.
12 items
So
because
use
it's
12
endless
every-
if you
yes.
start carrying over.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So from a logistics point of view and practicality, it doesn't carry over, but we know what they have taken. So for example, during circuit breaker month, so we know this particular beneficiary, Makcik Amina. So we asked her, because they were not encouraged to come down, so we actually asked her what she wanted.
Uh-huh.
So she said coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, coffee.
Just coffee.
So we look at the shelf, we do not know which coffee.
Yes.
So we went into the system to check what coffee did she take, and we were actually able to identify the exact type and brand of coffee, and we put that into the bag for her.
Beautiful.
So that's how we're creating an ecosystem. And for the shop, there is also a food drop where the community can donate food.
Yes,
Yes.
that was going to actually my next
So
question.
we actually created a full ecosystem. There's inbound food,
Okay.
and then the beneficiary collect from the shop itself, and it's all manned by volunteers.
How many of these shops exist at the moment?
We now have one at Mountbatten,
Mountbatten,
the first shop, and then one at Boon Lay.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and we're looking at shop number 3 and shop number 4 next year.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's nice. Has there ever been a way where your beneficiaries themselves might not have used something in particular from that month and wanted to give it back to the shop?
They just don't collect the item.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
So they will just say you can take it. I
So
don't
for
need
example, 12 credits.
it. Yeah.
12 credits, they might have used up 10 credits. And, for example, that month, maybe there was government vouchers, perhaps there was, ang pao from the constituency. So, they need not take that item,
Yeah.
then they won't take the item.
That's
And,
nice.
and that in itself minimizes food waste.
Exactly.
Because when we give food support, and if it's not targeted food support, we might actually be creating food waste.
Right.
So the system under the shop actually creates an entire ecosystem where we have donors who will go in and ask the beneficiary, what are you short of on the shelves? And then they go to a nearby supermarket and grab those items and then donate it to us. So it is a do good system, and I have personally witnessed our beneficiaries with a card, and an auntie walked by and said she wanted to go in and shop, and the beneficiary said, do you have a card? If you don't have a card, you cannot go in. So with just a shop concept, we have actually tipped the equilibrium around. It is not something to be shameful to be getting food support.
Of course.
But the fact is that she enjoyed being included into this shop.
Yeah.
And someone who has money cannot go into the shop because she doesn't have a card.
Yeah.
So with that simple model of the shop, we have just changed the equilibrium a little bit about how people see food support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she'd have been like, but I can buy you something what you want. Then that's the best.
No,
You cannot shop here, but I can get you something. I let you choose something. What do you want?
Yeah, so she was quite frank with the auntie.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
So it was a good
Just to teach people too.
good measurement.
It's a learning
Yes.
moment, you
Yes.
know, and you'd hope that it goes full circle at some point
Yes.
where that person realizes, oh, that's something very good,
Yes.
and maybe I should donate, you know,
Yes.
and that's how it starts. That's how it happens. Okay.
So for Project Belanja,
Yes.
it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It caters more to people who don't cook
Yep.
or has problem cooking.
Okay.
So again, the same card. We work with the hawkers. The hawkers has an app, and they will just read the card, and then the beneficiary can redeem the one meal.
Okay.
Okay, so we started that off in January 2019, test point pilot. And then from the data we collected, we know when they claim their meal,
Okay.
how many meals they claim, and we're able to work out a number. So the first
An
generation,
average number.
So the first generation model was a meal a day, every day,
Okay.
right? But the statistics showed that the claim rate was about 40%, 50%, 60%.
Interesting.
Yes, and therefore for the second generation, we decided 15 meals
yes,
a
a
month,
month.
which means the same funds can be spread across to benefit another group of beneficiaries.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's about efficiency,
Okay.
right? And the data shows us that. And we work with the hawkers. We don't expect the hawkers to give us for free. So
course.
every 2 weeks, we will pay the hawkers.
Okay.
So it's at the price decided upon.
Sure.
So if it's a chicken rice, $3.50, and if the hawker has redeemed, say, 100 meals
Yep.
over that period of time, we pay the person $350.
Wow.
And it's all digital.
That's amazing.
Yes. So it's the most seamless way.
Sure.
It's very unique in Singapore.
And trust as well in that way, which is kind of nice. Yes.
And it's very unique of Singapore. You don't find this anywhere to have hawker center, coffee shop just within the reach, right? And why not use the current infrastructure? We need not reinvent. So what Community Shop and Project Belanja does is that it uses the current infrastructure to provide seamless food support, digitalize, capturing data to help us chart what kind of food item should go into a food pack
Yes.
from the data that we collect from the shop. Right? Project Belanja, we know, it's also an alert system. If someone doesn't come down too long, the data shows that he didn't claim the meals.
Right.
Then we'll inform our local partner. Our
Yes.
local partner will go knocking on the doors to find out how
Local partners
the
in
person
the
is.
welfare organization
Yes,
of
yes,
that
at that
particular estate,
constituency.
a constituency. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So even for shop, the data captures.
Oh.
So if the person collects too many sweet items, so we will also inform the local partner that maybe you should advise the person to have a healthier,
Yeah.
diet.
Yeah.
So data really helps us,
Yeah.
and this is the future.
Yes.
To us, we believe this is the future.
Yes.
Just to buy food and give
Yeah.
doesn't seem that responsible anymore.
Yes. And this data is very important, like you said. You're looking out for the well-being of the beneficiaries. They haven't showed up for a while. Did something happen? If they're not eating the right foods, maybe we can help them kind of balance out their diet more. I think that's fantastic. So, is there a food from the heart sticker that these hawkers that support the Project Belanja?
There's a decal on the store.
Okay, because I will support. Now I will go, and if I see that,
Yeah.
I will make sure I will buy food from them to support them for being a part of.
Yes.
that
Currently,
initiative.
we are at a few places.
Okay.
So, in Singapore, help is always given very geographically.
Yeah.
Right. So the funds raised is meant for the area.
Mhm.
So Project Belanja is now at Tampines. It's at Kolam Air. It's at Toa Payoh, and it's at Mountbatten.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Where
We're
there's a lot
hoping
more
to-
elderly residents. Yes.
We are hoping to spread this island wide.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so. And that leads perfectly to my next question of the farms to family initiative
Yes.
with the local farm. How did that partnership come about?
Well, we always believe in partnerships, right? Working alone, what you can do is always lower, right? When you work with partners and when you look at a long-term partnership and then you make it work, right? And it drives the impact for the beneficiaries. So I met Kenny over a webinar, so networks do help.
Yes.
But we had the shared vision of what we feel sustainability means to both of us. So for Food from the Heart, sustainability is about sustainable giving.
Yep.
We want to make sure that when we give help, next month you don't go and tell the beneficiary, I cannot give you anymore.
Of course.
Right? So that's about sustainable giving. So Local Farm was really looking about sustainable farming. And we really feel that, it matches. We sort of see, the vision of where this campaign can go and how, corporates can come in to really drive this, right? We can't do this alone.
Yes.
Right? Food from the Heart is able to identify the beneficiaries who should benefit from this, right? And then Local Farm has to work with the farmers to make sure that we get the fresh produce. But I think what is really very interesting is really that it is the freshest of food. It is within hours the beneficiaries will get them.
Yes.
Right? And I think that makes a huge difference to the diet. And it's a small gesture, but it's a huge step towards how people see food support.
Absolutely.
Right? People who benefit from beneficiaries are already the bottom 4 to 5% of the population. If we do not give them better food, right, we're just nudging them lower.
Absolutely.
As the rest of the population, surge ahead, they will continue to remain at the bottom. And that nudge is important. And it means a food charity, corporates, farmers, working together to just nudge it a little bit, right, in the right direction. And we hope that this will also change the landscape of how everyone views food support.
And on that note also, how can our audience support Food from the Heart?
Well, as a charity, we always call for people to do 3 things. Donate, be it funds, be it food, right? Secondly is to volunteer your time, volunteer your expertise. And thirdly, to just share the message, be the voice of our beneficiaries, to go out there and tell people that there is a community out there that needs every one of us to just, nudge them along.
Thank you so much, Biha. It's been a pleasure listening to you and telling me and our audience so much more about Food from the Heart.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you've learned as much as I have from both our guests. And if you'd like to continue to support and donate, you can check out details at the Local Farm Facebook for more information. Until the next time, thanks and take care.